2024 real estate trends, what's hot and what's not. What's the current trend in home prices and how has it changed compared to last year? When sales slow down in any market, most people expect prices to follow, but that's not the case in real estate for this year and for next, and here's why. When interest rates skyrocketed along with inflation, the inventory of homes available for purchase fell too. And as you know, prices are usually tied to supply and demand. And in this case, both the supply and demand decreased at the same time. Home sellers who felt like they had golden handcuffs with their 3% mortgages were not willing to buy their next home and pay thousands of dollars more per month for their mortgage. And in addition, builders saw the writing on the wall and downsized their plans for the next 2 years. Even if they wanted to keep building, banks started pulling back on their lending for new projects as they did not want to get stuck with lots like they did during the Great Recession. The supply of homes decreased enough to offset the lower demand, and that's how prices rose 2.5% year over year across the nation. And that same trend is expected for 2024. CoreLogic expects home prices to rise 3.5% by July of 2024. Not every state or city is seeing price increases, and that's because all real estate is local. Some of it has to do with migration. People are moving out of the more expensive places to live on the East and West Coast and moving to more affordable locations in the South and Midwest, where homes are less expensive and jobs are growing. In other places, prices rose too high for the local population to accept during the pandemic, and consumers refuse to pay these artificially inflated prices. And in some cases, supply and demand are so out of balance, causing prices to fall to help spur sales. There might be other local issues that are having an effect on price, and that's why it's so important to check on the conditions in your area with a trusted real estate professional. Now, the states where prices have dropped on average from July of 22 through July of 23 include Arizona, California, Colorado, Idaho, Montana, Nevada, Oregon, Texas, Utah, Washington, and Wyoming. When you look at the big picture across the nation, current inventory levels are significantly lower than during the run-up to the Great Recession. And according to Trading Economics, U.S. total housing inventory is at the lowest level at any time since 1980. There are roughly half of our long-term average and 25% of what we had during the inventory peak in 2008 in the middle of the Great Recession. The closest we've ever been to these low levels was during the mid-90s, and we currently have 33% less homes for sale than we did in 1995. Interestingly enough, California and Arizona had the largest decreases in inventory over the last year. And both of these states also saw the average home price drop over the last year. This signals that demand has decreased significantly in both of these states. I can't speak for Arizona, however, I meet people all the time in Nashville who recently moved here from California. Interestingly enough, all these states are located in the Northeast. The state with the highest increase year over year was Vermont at 8.5%. Coming tied at second place was New Hampshire and New Jersey, both at 7.3%. And all three of these states are considered bargains as compared to the giants in those areas like New York, Connecticut, and Massachusetts. I expect many folks moved out of the big cities and migrated to more rural areas in the Northeast as remote work became more popular. This trend will be interesting to watch as more and more companies are calling back their employees to the office for at least a couple of days a week. According to data from CoreLogic, the top 5 markets expected to see the most significant price decreases are Provo, Utah, Spokane, Washington, Cape Coral, Florida, North Point, Sarasota, Florida, and the Lakeland, Winter Haven, Florida area. All these cities have a very high level of risk of price decline, as all of them are over a 70% probability of price declines. CoreLogic also feels very confident about this prediction because they've given it a confidence score between 50 and 75%. There is no single answer for all these regions, and much of it has to do with local supply and demand issues. Here's how the top 10 metros fared in home prices from July of 22 through July of 23. Miami ranks on top with a 9% gain in home prices. Chicago comes in second with a 4.2% gain over the last year. Washington, D.C. slides into third place with a 2.7% price increase. Boston and San Diego are tied for fourth place with a 1.3% gain. And Houston took on sixth place, squeaking out a 1% increase in average home values. Now for the losers. Las Vegas was the biggest loser at 4.8% average price drop. Phoenix was the second biggest loser with a 4.2% decrease in home values. Surprisingly, Denver was up next with a 1.3% loss in prices. And rounding out the top 10 was Los Angeles, California, with a minuscule 0.8% drop. What can you expect to happen over the next year? Price appreciation is starting to increase again. The last 2 months' reports showed year-over-year increases at about 1.6%. The latest info from CoreLogic puts us at a 2% year-over-year with a 0.4% monthly gain. The CoreLogic Home Price Index forecast indicates that home prices will increase on a month-over-month basis from 0.4% from July of 23 to August of 23, and increase on a year-over-year basis by 3.5% from July of 23 to July of 24. The 11 states that saw home price declines over the last year were all in the West. But since many of those markets have inventory shortages, that trend might be short-lived and recent buyer competition will likely cause prices to heat up again. CoreLogic projects that all states that saw year-over-year losses in July will begin posting gains by October of this year. And since they expect mortgage rates to stay high throughout the end of the year, this has dampened price increase forecasts for 2023, especially in those markets that are most expensive. Because inventory, or the number of homes for sale, continues to fall, home prices in some of those markets should see relatively more upward pressure as we move into next year. And based on slowing inflation, the National Association of Realtors chief economist Lawrence Yun expects mortgage rates to drop closer to 6% next year. He says this will further stoke demand and keep prices elevated throughout the year. Zillow has a similar forecast as it expects home values to rise by 6.5% from July of 2023 through July of 2024, despite persistent affordability challenges. Freddie Mac is forecasting prices rising by 0.8% between August 23 and August 24, followed by a 0.9% gain the following 12 months. Part of that expected rebound in prices is based on the fact that many potential first-time home buyers are reaching prime home buying age over the next few years. While this is good news for homeowners, it is a letdown for many home buyers who expected prices to drop across the nation. That's why I recommend that you buy now while the demand is low and then refinance when rates drop in the next few years. Due to pent-up demand and lower inventory, most economists expect that prices will rise rapidly as interest rates retreat to recent norms. If you liked the video, click the like button to let us know you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below and I'll make sure to answer them. And be sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so you never miss another episode. Take care and have a good day.